Food banks across Virginia are seeing an increase in clients across the state due to the COVID-19 pandemic, but farmers are helping to meet that demand. Long lines at local food banks have become an unwelcome sign of the times this summer. Layoffs and furloughs mean more consumers are trying to stretch their food dollars. Farmers have their own problems caused by the coronavirus, but they're still trying to help.
This year was a challenging year for growing. We had a late frost and it became extremely hot later on. So it bunched a lot of our separate plantings together. We were supposed to harvest wheat corn over a 7-week period, and it was condensed into a 4-week period. That made us not have enough labor to get everything done on time. So rather than pass all of it that we couldn't pick, we were glad to have the Healthy Harvest Food Bank get some of their volunteers out, and that way it didn't go to waste.
Virginia food banks are grateful for any donated farm produce, especially with more people than ever coming to them for help feeding their families.
We've seen about a 20 to 25% increase.
Mark KLEINSCHMIDT and Cindy Balderson run the Healthy Harvest Food Bank in Warsaw, Virginia. They've been working with Parker Farms in Colonial Beach for the past 8 years. Based on experience, they're expecting a rough fall.
Come September and October, it's going to spike. I think it's going to stay that way throughout the winter. So right now, we've been trying to get all the food we can to allow for those difficult months that we're assuming are going to come up soon.
One thing that helps Virginia farmers address this increased demand for fresh food is a state food bank donation tax credit. The Virginia Farm Bureau and other farm organizations supported the tax credit in the General Assembly in 2016. The program allows farmers to claim a credit up to 30% of the value of their food donations to a nonprofit food bank. The maximum individual tax credit allowed is $5,000 a year, and the statewide program is capped at $250,000 worth of credits each fiscal year.
We just hate to see anything go to waste when it can be used.
Farmers like John Marker in Frederick County say they'd likely be donating extra produce with or without the tax credit. Still, every bit of help for the growers is welcome. He's been working with gleaning operations for decades to help get unsold produce to families in need. It's still a little early in the season for him, but Miller anticipates more activity and more donations as fall approaches.
I haven't really had anything to glean yet. Most of our early peaches have been very light because of the freeze damage early, and we usually have some garden vegetables and things like that they can glean. But then the big thing is apples later in the season.
The Federation of Virginia Food Banks says with the pandemic, 1 in 8 Virginia families is experiencing hunger, and the need for fresh food donations is greater than ever. Farmers hate seeing the product of their hard work go unused.
There's a lot of food that goes to waste simply because it's not perfect or it's a slightly off grade. So it makes us feel good that somebody can utilize that. And for us, it's not a lot of work. The trick comes with getting the volunteers to come. So we're very fortunate to have a group that will coordinate that effort and make good use of something that's perfectly good and nutritious.
The Federation of Virginia Food Banks distributes more than 120 million pounds of free food to almost 1 million Virginians each year. Farmers are proud to be part of that effort. In Fredericksburg, Virginia, I'm BURKE MOELLER reporting.